Hey everybody, so I'm back to share what is inside the box, what projects I used or created and what I used to create them. If you're interested in these supplies, that's the reason why I'm doing this, so you can actually see what I used to make each item. So let's get started. I believe I shared these before, these tags here, but I've also created a little bobbin tag, not a little bobbin, but a ribbon winder. And this die is from Waffle Flower Crafts, right here. So it is by Waffle Flower. And let me show you the name, because I know a lot of people are like, where do you get this stuff? Well, here's the name of the company. You can look on their website, but other people do sell their products. And this is not a new die, so you can find it. I use this one for another project, and then I use these two different sizes. What I've done is I've made sure that I used all my scraps. So if I had a large size scrap, I cut one of those out for Cat. So this is that die right there, and I just put some of the twine, the jute twine from May Arts. Here it is. This is the cream color, because I have a ton of this, so that she could use these tags and send those out with her own projects. And there's a garment pin holding all the little sentiments that I stamped. And the sentiments come from the set that I previously shared where I made the quilt tags. So this is all going out to my swap partner. And this tag is doubled up so that it's pretty thick in terms of being able to stand up to all of this twine that I wrapped around it. And sorry for any glare. Okay, so the next thing I have is this button card. Now this button card is made with these dies right here. And these dies were made by Scorepal, which actually makes that little scoreboard. But they put out these dies a couple of years back, and I used the button card and the coordinating backing die. So you can see that right here. That's what I used to make this. And also these button, I don't know what you call these, flat covered buttons from Tuesday Morning. I use these as well. Just gonna stick those in my drawer because that's where they go. And then this is coordinating Tilda fabric. So the Tilda paper that I shared in my original video that these projects are made from, they also put out a fabric line, and she's, like I said, she's retired all of her scrapbooking stuff, so it's all just fabric now. Fabric projects, I should say, sewing projects. So this is one of those remnants from a roll of the strips, and I had made a quilt from the fabric, and you have to cut one of the pieces when you start it so that your quilt is staggered. So this is just a remnant from that, a scrap piece, and I used it to make the buttons. So this little accessory button card is how I put together the buttons, and then you know, just tied them on here. And you can make this into a tag. I just thought I would try this out, use some of that scrap paper up to make that button card. Okay, and next I have these cards. These are tags, actually. So these two tags were made with, again, the scrap piece of fabric that I had. These little wood veneer thread holders. These are from Hobby Lobby, I bet, or I think. I added some of those pins in there because they coordinated a button on this one, a little thread bobbin on this. And the stamp comes from this paper tray ink set right here, Button Boutique. There's the stamp, and there's dies that that go with this. Didn't use the dies, I just used the stamp on this. And to stamp the cardstock, which is craft cardstock, I use this Stampin' Up! Bordering Blue. And this, you can see what color it looks like when it's on craft cardstock, but when it's not when it's on like a creamy cardstock, it's a lot lighter. So it worked out perfectly for this. And the other thing that I have, because these are tags, I needed a way to stamp the to from. And she can use these tags, you know, if she wants to attach it to a project. This is just a 1/4 inch seam binding. I attached a little garment pin here, and this little tag is a little sewing square that I cut out using a die from Paper Tray Ink. And it is actually, I've reused the die, so here it is. It's like a 1.5 inches maybe, or 1 inch square. And I can't recall which set it comes with, but I think it's one of the sewing ones, of course. But the to and from are from a separate set called To You From Me. So there it is right there. I have lots of these sets that had the to and from in it, but this is just a pretty font. And that's what I used on all of these tags to stamp on. And that's the same color of ink that is stamped here, the bordering blue. So that's what I used to make these little tags. Okay, and again, the tilde paper, and you can see the direction of the paper. I used my scraps. I used a lot of them so that I wouldn't have a lot left over. And then what I didn't use for my projects, I again cut extras. Here's those bobbins that I was showing from Waffle Flower, so that I could send these in the swap and she can make her own. Either she can use them for ribbon, or she can create tags. But I thought this was a great use of scraps, right? To be able to send some coordinating paper with it. So that is the tags there. Now I do have this little, they call it a truffle treat box. So this truffle treat box is another die from Paper Tray Ink. This is out of stock, by the way. I had to wait for a long time to get this. So it's 3 pieces. I didn't use the 2 decorative pieces because you can cut a window in the box, but this is the box right here, and you cut 2 pieces to make the box. It's very cute. Okay. Once you put it together, and it's very sturdy. This is great for holding. If you see my finger, I've cut it in half. You can put those little Ferrero Rocher or the Lindt chocolates in here, and you can fit 2 in here. It's a perfect little gift box. And again, I've just used that Mayart's jute twine to make this tag. This is a die from Pretty Pink Bosh. This is very similar to the die that Paper Tray Ink has for the quilt tags that I made. So of course I have to have different sizes in it. And this is a square, which fits perfectly with this die, which I reused from the tags you saw, and it fits inside. You can see that. So that is what is used here. And here's the, see, I've got 2 sets. Pretty Pink Bosh is who makes this. The stamp that's here, this strawberry stamp, is from Hero Arts. Let's see. I can't pull it out. The strawberry stamp is from Hero Arts. The Enjoy is from Mama Elephant. No, Lawn Fawn. This is the stamp set that I used from Lawn Fawn that has the Enjoy right on. I love this set because it's so tiny, and it's got its own dies, but I didn't use these dies. I used the stamp set here. Tiny tag sayings. So that's where the Enjoy comes from. The little heart I got from Vicky in Iraq. And the ink color is this Gina K Dusty Rose. So that's the match that I made to match this coordinating paper. And this is the Spring Diaries paper pad. Okay, so that's the truffle treat box. It's just tied closed because there's little handles here. Basically you have to untie this to open the box because the ribbon will not pass through, or the slits won't pass through unless you take this off. So that's what's keeping it closed right now. So the next project I have is this little tiny embroidery hoop. Now I'm gifting my swap partner some. These are from Stampin' Up, and they're from the previous catalog. last year's annual catalog, I believe. So there are some in here, and I put some little shred in here just so that they're very delicate. So I didn't want them to break or get a lot of pressure while they're in the box. So I made this tag to go along with it. And the backing here is the long ribbon winder or floss winder that I have from Waffle Flower. And I just fold it in half. I didn't even glue it together, just for extra, you know, she could reuse this tag if she wanted to. And then I added this to the back. And I didn't put my name here because what I want her to be able to do is to reuse stuff. So rather than putting my name and her name on the tag, I just left it blank. She knows who it's from. It's going to be coming from, you know, the box that I send. This little embroidery hoop is that Stampin' Up! Embroidery hoop. There's some Mayarts twine in the pink right here. And I stamped this image with the Tailored Expressions Stitch by Stitch stamp set. And it has a cat right here. I'm sorry for the glare. It has a cat right here. And so because I wanted to have two colors like the image here, I used my markers to color the stamp in. So these are Stampin' Write markers. You can use any dye ink marker, or water soluble marker, I should say. Don't use an alcohol marker because it will stain your stamp and it will not stamp the image. Gray Granite and Pretty in Pink is what I used to stamp the image. And the cardstock is that Michaels 110-pound cardstock that I used there. And I know it's not a perfect image. That was on purpose. I kind of wanted it to look a little bit faded in spots, so that was on purpose. And then on the back it says, "You're a perfect friend." That's also from the stamp set. And then I added a little jewel, and these are the jewels that come in that huge box of stuff from Michaels in the jewelry section. It's one of those pink rhinestones. So that's what I made there. And then I have one more tag right here. This tag that I made has her initials on it, and I used a Paper Tray ink tag. I think this is Paper Tray ink, one of their old tags. And this comes from an alphabet set from Waffle Flower. So the same company that makes this alpha set. And when you cut it into something, it puts all these little dots around it, and you can stitch it. So that's what I did. I stitch it with the DMC floss that I had used for my needle book. See, it's the same color. And then I cut it in different colored cardstock. So this is the pattern cardstock, and then this is the solid 110-pound. And I just variegated the pattern so you would be able to see her initials. And so on the back it's blank, but I did put a backing on it in the solid color. I will write something on the back of this one for her. So that is all the items for my swap. I hope this wasn't too long of a video, and I hope you enjoyed my projects. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye.